Hello and welcome back to JP's World of Wrestling. I am your man, JP, and today we are continuing on with the Mattel Retros. And today we continue with this guy right here. This is Kurt Angle, the Olympic gold medalist. This guy won a gold medal in the 1996 Olympics, and he actually did it with a broken neck, and he really did. This guy was super, super tough, um, but then he came into professional wrestling. Now, Kurt Angle was going to join up with ECW, but the night he was in ECW, they kind of did the stupid angle where where Raven crucified Tommy Dreamer on a cross. And Kurt Angle found that really disrespectful. You know, he's a Christian, so he didn't really like that, and I don't really blame him. I mean, the next week I think Raven came out and apologized for it and acknowledged that it was disrespectful and that he didn't mean it. And I don't really hold it against Raven, really, because I don't think it really registered with ECW that people might find it offensive. But anyway, this is about Kurt Angle. So then Kurt Angle signed with the WWF. Now, I think from what I hear, when Kurt Angle first wanted to sign with the WWF, he wanted to put in his contract, well, he could never lose because he could realistically beat any of the other guys. So then WWE said, well, if that's how you feel, thank you for your time and, we wish you well. But then he's like, well, okay, well, wait a minute. All right, fine. I won't put that, I can lose, whatever. So this action figure looks like Kurt Angle when he first came to the WWF, where he actually had hair and everything. But when he came in, he feuded with Taz, ECW wrestler. And he feuded with Taz because Taz was a suplex machine. And at the Royal Rumble 2000, Kurt Angle came out and gave an open challenge to anybody. And Taz answered the challenge, and Taz actually knocked Kurt Angle out with the Taz submission hold. But then Kurt Angle went on to win every single major title in the WWF, and he eventually won the WWF title, and he feuded with Triple H. And, he had some pretty good matches. He had a kind of a scary match with Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 19, where Brock Lesnar did the shooting star press and landed kind of wonky on his neck, kind of hurt himself. He's okay, obviously, but that was a scary moment in wrestling. But Kurt Angle, he was really athletic. I remember him doing this move where he would go on the top rope and he would actually do like a big flip and try to land on his opponent. He often missed it, but that's the way. And then he left the WWF. Then he went to TNA and he joined the Main Event Mafia. That's the group I was trying to think of earlier on with the Steiner Brothers video. It was the Main Event Mafia. And it was Kurt Angle, Scott Steiner, Sting, and so those guys, and Booker T. So those guys were the Main Event Mafia, and so he had a really long run at TNA. He was actually there longer than his WWF run, but then he got inducted into the WWE Hall of Fame, and then he had another run in the WWE, and they came out with this Mattel Retro figure. This figure is okay at best. They kind of have this kind of body style where it kind of bends to the side. The idea is that he's supposed to put his opponent right here and then like do this as kind of the angle slam. But I never really liked that finishing move. It was kind of not very impactful. Like the impact of the move seemed rather low and it just wasn't very good. But this figure is okay. Like the hands are kind of open. And Kurt Angle, he didn't do karate chops, so I just don't understand why these hands can't be close because Kurt Angle was always a puncher. And like I've said on this video before, I don't like open-handed wrestling figures because wrestlers like to punch. They're punchers. So, I don't know. This figure is okay. I have it for collector's sake, and I'm glad that I have it. But, nevertheless, this figure is okay. But I always kind of liked watching Kurt Angle. Even though he was more of the modern era, he came later. But I always kind of liked watching him. Just because the moves that he did in the ring were kind of reminiscent of the Steiner brothers. So he did a lot of like amateur style wrestling moves, and I kind of like watching him. So anyway, Kurt Angle. And that is going to conclude this video. So if you're new here, go ahead and like and subscribe and share, and I will see you next time.